Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday the 13th. You believe in that foolishness. But happy Friday to you. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope that you and your family are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family on this Friday in terms of food and shelter and clothing are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in healthcare and those first responders who daily are trying to save human lives, the real heroes in society. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage to keep streets, sidewalks, and parks clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are trying to help deliver and rescue and recover the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who take advantage of innocence for their perversions and for money. Finally, blessings upon those that are homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children. The number is growing in the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So today, on Friday the 13th, we have come to the finalization that now at this point, both the Philadelphia 76ers as well as the Brooklyn Nets are out of the playoffs. And so, I was thinking about this. When I was little, now this was a long time ago, previous century, literally, there were these twin kids. These twin boys, they were little troublemakers, and they was a little older than the rest of us. When I was in elementary school, like maybe third, fourth grade, I met them. When the schools got integrated, I met them, because I go back to when the schools were segregated, even in New York. And so when they put us in all these different schools, I ended up in this school with more Caucasian kids. And there was these two little twin boys. They were some bad little boys, right? Always getting in trouble. And I found out that they both got left back twice. Left back meaning they had to repeat grades twice, which back then was a big deal. And they ended up dropping out sometime, when we was in high school. I didn't see them no more. But I realized that because they were left back twice, they were always going to be behind, right? And they never could catch up. You weren't going to catch up in 1 year after messing up for 2 straight years, and being 2 years behind your class. And some people would like the Knicks to just catch up. Like I heard people say, I've waited 20 years and they've been terrible. Well, it's because the Knicks have been trying to rush back and make up lost time while we still struggling. You got to build the right way. In today's video, the focus today is 2 things. Let's get 2 things straight. Number 1, the era of the big 3 is played out. It's played out. Okay? Teams like Memphis and Dallas and Phoenix and Boston are showing us that it takes good drafting, good scouting, good development to develop a team that is championship contention. And Milwaukee. Okay? So the big 3 is embarrassing right now as far as Brooklyn. So they paid all this money to get Harden and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And then they traded Harden and they get Ben Simmons, who I don't know if apparently he had back surgery recently. So maybe his back was always hurt, or maybe it was in his head. Who knows? But they paid a lot of money to lose early in the playoffs. Did they lose in the play-in? I don't even know. No, they lost in the first round. Whatever. Played out. See, LeBron, sometimes you get a player that goes against the normal grain. Like, for example, I like to mention Kobe Bryant in this scenario. Kobe Bryant was a ball hog. Now, he was. But he was a great ball hog. I mean, he could go against two dudes as easy as some dudes could go against one. Right? And his defense was stellar. I mean, he played 48 minutes of basketball hard. But don't look for him to pass the ball too much. That's what made Shaq so angry. And Shaq ended up leaving LA and going to Miami. But he was a ball hog. And his work ethic is legendary. Literally. The work ethic of Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Kobe. Legendary. Okay? So some people, like Alonzo Trier or Julius Randle, copy his work ethic, but also think they're going to copy his game. And that's where they get into trouble. The work ethic, go ahead. But when you try to copy his game, you're going to get messed up because he was an exception. I don't believe there's ever been a player like that. And the reason I say that, there's been lots of great players like Elgin Baylor. Some of you way before some of your time, but Elgin Baylor would drop 60 on you and lose. Okay, Lou never won a championship, and he was on the Lakers, and they won championships after him. And he was one of the greatest offensive players ever. But there's never been a dude that just took all the shots and their team just won, except Kobe Bryant. He's the exception. He's the exception that proves the rule. Okay, he's the exception. Okay, then you had LeBron go to Miami and join forces with D. Wade and Chris Bosh, all NBA players, and they won 2 chips, right? They won 2 chips. And that caused an era where everybody was trying to form their own big three. Different teams was trying to do it after that. And every place LeBron went, he was doing that, trying to form a big three. He went from Miami and he came to Cleveland, and it was him, Irving, and Kevin Love, right? Then he went to the Lakers and he went and he got AD. It really hasn't got a third, but same thing. He's trying to form that to a big three and then get a bunch of minimum contract players and think they're going to win it all. And he has spoiled the rest of the league because people also try to copy that formula because NBA is a copycat league. And right now we have seen it's played out. See, LeBron was the exception. Okay. And to me, it doesn't mean that LeBron is greater or worse than any other player that's great. He's obviously a special talent, but that worked for him. That worked for him. It got him 4 rings. Okay. But it won't work for everybody because not everybody's LeBron. And what I mean by that is not everybody can fit within a big three like a LeBron. Just like not everybody can hog the ball and still win like Kobe. Generally speaking, you have to build a team. So 2 things, what we see with Philly and what we see with Brooklyn. The big three is played out. Number 1, played out. Build your team the right way. The second thing is tanking is stupid. It's stupid. And anybody that suggests you tank is also stupid. Let me just be real about it. Okay? It's stupid. Now, if you're saying to me you're going to play your young players to develop them and lose, that's not tanking. That's development. But if you're going to put G League players on the floor to lose on purpose, you stupid. Philly did that. They ain't won a ring yet. That's how they got Embiid. Embiid was one of many when they was tanking. They got Embiid. They got Nerlens Noel. They got Ben Simmons. All by tanking. They were purposely losing. And they got those guys. And they still ain't won a ring. I mean, that's the object, isn't it? To win a championship. And look at the teams that have won championships. Look at the teams that winning. Your Milwaukee Bucks drafted Giannis at 19, developed him, got Chris Middleton off Detroit scrap heap because he was in the G League with Detroit. They developed him. Okay? Some of y'all mentioned Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe came after those guys were already developed. They were already pushing for that ring by the time they got Bledsoe. He was supposed to be the last piece. He turned out not to be. So then they replaced him with Jrue Holiday championship. Okay? But they developed their own guys that they drafted. Or that they got off the scrap heap. Okay? You're looking at Dallas last night, now pushing Phoenix to the 7th game. Again, some of y'all think, y'all holding your candles out thinking Jalen Brunson coming to New York. He ain't coming to New York. And don't let them beat Phoenix on Sunday. When is the next? Is it Sunday? Saturday night? Whenever it is. Because if they go to the Western Conference Finals, that brother's staying in Dallas. He's staying in Dallas anyway. I mean, you see how they fit. And look at them. He's a 2nd round pick. Right? Dory Finney-Smith, I don't think he was even drafted. Last night, Frank Ntilikina put clamps on both Booker and CP3. Clamps! Ain't scored a point now. But do you see the defense? Then, of course, they drafted Luka Doncic. At the time, I was treating Luka like I would have traded everything except for KP to get Luka Doncic. I would have traded the kitchen sink to get him because I knew he was going to be a special generational talent. And he fits within what? The team concept in Dallas. So the big 3 situation, please. I mean, some of your NBA 2K trying to put that on the Knicks. Let's play it out. And anybody mentioning tanking need to stop. I won't even look at your stuff. I mean, come on, man. Get out of here with that. Draft properly. That's what you got to do. It's not easy. It takes hard work. It takes time. But you can't make any shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. If you haven't learned anything from watching great basketball players, they never take the great ones. They never take shortcuts. Step by step, building by building. Do you know Michael Jordan played in the NBA 7 years before he won his first chip? 7 years. Okay, it wasn't like it happened overnight. All right. It's step by step, block by block, development by development. That's how you win a chip. Then you make strategic moves to do the finishing touches. Right now, we still in the block by block era. For the Knicks, we drafted the kids, right? We got the kids now. You got to develop them. See what you got. You got Walt Perrin. See, Leon Rose ain't by himself in that front office. You got to remember, Walt Perrin is there. He put that Utah team together. Now, they ain't win no chip, but they're a much better team than the Knicks. And so, you got to draft properly, scout properly. How you find a Jokovitis? Okay, you find him by scouting. You draft properly, and you bring these kids along. Again, the Knicks tripped out, when they brought all these guys in to try to help Thibodeau win right away. That was stupid. That's Thibodeau hurting the program. And it's up to Leon and them to get Thibodeau right on this program. There's no shortcuts. And it's amazing to me. It's still very ironic that a coach, when you listen to Thibodeau, there's no shortcuts. There's steps you got to take. And yet, as a team, as an overall unit, he wants them to win right away. It's ironic. It's oxymoronic. But he got to get on this program. You cannot take shortcuts to championships. Championships are built by starting with your front office, drafting properly, scouting before you even draft, scouting properly, scouting the talent that fits in your system. So let's talk about what is the Knicks system. Well, if you got Tom Thibodeau as your coach, your system is based on defense and rebounding. It is not based on 3-point shooting. It is based on defense and rebounding. Now, today's NBA, yes, obviously, they shoot a lot of 3-point. Definitely. Definitely. But you don't want to base your offense on that. It's got to be a part of everybody's offense. You got to have some shooters. Look at the Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson's a shooter. Tyler Herro's a shooter. Tyler Herro just won 6th Man of the Year. That's important. Why did he win 6th Man of the Year? Because he's not starting. Why is he not starting? Because his defense is not up to par. Spoelstra don't play that. Okay, bring him off the bench. See? But their starting unit is a defensive juggernaut. Okay? Thibodeau is a defensive coach. So you got to start with defense and rebounding. That's how his games are. That's how he thinks. You could win like that. You could do that. Look at Milwaukee. They just won the chip. They did it. Defense and rebounding. What, you think Giannis is a 3-point marksman? No. That's how Thibodeau is game. Is defense and rebounding. So you gotta look for players that fit in that mold. And then you also hope you can get some shooters in there that can play defense and shoot. And we did. Quentin Grimes can play defense, and that brother can shoot. People thought Obi couldn't play defense. I thought he would have trouble coming out of Dayton because of his hip movement. But no, he has developed into a good defender. I don't know what some of y'all are talking about. He has developed. From his rookie year, he was terrible. But now, he's really come along. The game has slowed down for him. See, that's another thing y'all got to remember. The NBA game is the fastest game in the world in terms of basketball. There's no game as quick as the NBA that moves as fast as the NBA. Offensively and defensively. And Obi was lost defensively. He's head on the swivel and he getting lost in his rookie year. But he has learned. And he can play some defense now. I've seen Obi guard 1 through 4. Really. He can't do it for long stretches now. But he could do it enough to be a part of a solid defensive unit. Okay? And some of y'all talking about he can't shoot. Even my man Berman talking about he can't shoot. See, brothers and sisters, please remember, some guys need to play more than 5 or 6 minutes before they can show you what they got. Some of y'all already counting out Deuce. He can't do this and can't do that. And what he did was in the G League. Will you please understand? If he gets minutes, serious minutes on a consistent basis like Obi did, he gonna produce. You can't expect everybody to just be Vinny Microwave Johnson, come off the bench and just score. That's why they bench players that could do that. But not all players are like that. And Obi was one of those guys, needed some serious minutes. And when he got them, 42 points, 35 points. Okay? And Deuce is the same. You need some minutes, man. That's the difference between G League Deuce and NBA Deuce. G League Deuce gets 30 plus minutes. Let NBA Deuce get 30 plus minutes a game for like 10 games. Watch what happens. But this is development. There's no shortcuts. Big Three played out. Forget Big Three. And please don't even mention tanking. Don't even start with that. Okay, so let's get our kids. And let me tell you something. I wouldn't even mind. And I know Knicks Nation, and let me tell you, let me just make this plain. I don't know if some of y'all caught it, but Leon Rose put the plan out about a month ago. Some of y'all just maybe didn't catch that, or maybe you weren't paying attention. The plan is go with the core young people. He kept mentioning our young core. Do you understand what that means when he says our young core? That means he's going with the younger players. He wants to build from what he said is his younger players. And he mentioned them. He talked about RJ and Obi, who he drafted. And Grimes and Quick. He talked about those guys. That's his young core. There's no shortcuts. Yes, it's going to take a few seasons. Deal with it. It ain't nobody's fault, none of our fault, that they wasted 20 years trying to get rich quick. But now they trying to do it right. Give them the time to do it right. And some of y'all just counting the days till Leon makes a mistake. We finally got competent front office. Yeah, they made some mistake. They shouldn't have got Kemba Walker, even though they did the smart thing and got him for a 2-year deal. Some of y'all forget that. None of these deals that Leon signed are long term. That's smart, man. And some of you, well, I think he's going to make another mistake. You know what? I want to see you on your job not make any mistakes. And you ain't got nothing like the pressure that Leon got. To me, Leon's a brilliant man. Sure, he's going to make some mistakes. He's in New York, where everything is magnified, where you got the Bermans and the Stephen Bondis, and then the Knicks Nation waiting for you to make a mistake so they can put it on the front page. It ain't easy, but I think we in good hands. I want to keep that core together with Leon, Walt, Aller. Let's keep that together. Okay, I want that core to stay. That's the nucleus of the brain trust that's going to keep us in the long-term sustainable winning. All right? But some of y'all, I've been waiting 20 years. Who cares what you've been waiting, man? You know what I'm saying? You had Isaiah Thomas running things. And Leighton, remember Leighton? Scott Leighton? Oh my gosh. And Grunwald, who got, see what I'm saying? That's what they had. And then you had the owner trying to take over and think he was the basketball genius. Finally, we got done with all that. And we got competent management now. Let them do their thing. Just let it play out. They're going to make some mistakes. But see, this is the thing I believe about smart management. Yeah, they make mistakes. Every team's management has made mistakes. But the key thing is they learn from the mistakes. That's the thing. All of us make mistakes. But do we learn from our mistakes? That's the basis of wisdom. One of the foundations of wisdom is learning from your mistakes. Another one is learning from the mistakes of others. Now, that's when you're really smart. But they made a mistake last year with Kemba and bringing in Fournier and trying to put together a team unit where you're weak on defense. And defense is supposed to be our calling card. And it was in Tibbs' first year. We got to return to that calling card. Defense and rebounding. Okay, you got to return to that. That's the core thing here. Yeah, Thibodeau ain't got no imagination offensively. And yes, he refuses to get an offensive coordinator. Very frustrating, I admit. But look, let's at least develop what we really are as a Thibodeau team in terms of defense and rebound. To me, once you establish that on a consistent basis, now you could talk about what you got to do offensively. But if you lost your identity because you brought in guys that don't play no defense, you really messed up. And I think 37 wins that they got this past season, we've seen a lot worse in New York. We've seen a lot worse. Okay. And that was a bad year. So I'm thinking, we return to our roots. Return to our roots. Defense and rebounding. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Return to the roots and build the right way. To me, they're already started. This is year 3 to rebuild coming up. And what I like right here again is that we have drafted well. And that's important when you're trying to do it the right way. And they have drafted well. 6 or 7 young players we got that are very promising. All of them are promising. And you got to see what you have with them. Put them through the fire. Hopefully they do that this year. And Leon has already indicated with his repeated mentions of a young core. He's already indicated. And some of y'all don't want to believe. I got one guy. Randall's never going. He's just very angry when I mention Randall being traded. Get over it. You can't have Randall and Obi long term. You can't do it. You got to choose one of them. Why do I say that? I just mentioned that Obi's a guy that needs minutes to produce. He needs to get lathered up. He needs to be out there knowing he ain't coming out the game. He said so himself. Randall's obviously also in that kind of mode. You can't do both. You cannot play them together. Let's stop NBA 2K. They play together on the court. They suck when they're together. They don't fit well. It's not saying that every 2 4s on the league don't fit well, but those two don't work. It's already been tried. Have you watched the season? They already did it. It don't work. So you got to get rid of one of them. You got to. Randall is at the right age. He's 27. Move him. And I believe they will. Move him and get what you can now. And develop around Obi. There's no shortcut. Randall's a third option on the championship team or playoff team. And that's where he should be. Somebody third option. Whether it's Portland, Dallas, wherever. He should be somebody third option. Okay? Obi's a young building block of a long-term sustainable winner. He's a building block. Leon picked him over Halliburton because they were intending to trade Randall that year. They only kept Randall because of Tibbs. And Tibbs worked Randall on Randall's contract. Yeah, and we saw what happened, but you ain't going to see that no more. He's not going to be no number one option doing that anymore. That's not him. That was a contract year. He got his money now. Okay? So they're going to have to move off of Randall. Period. Right? And that will change the complexion of the team. Now, we may take a step back because Randall is an experienced pro. With all his faults, with all his attitude, with all his mental problems. He's an experienced pro. And it's going to take Obi a season. That's all really. Give Obi one season and he'll catch up to that. Okay, but he needs a season, a full season. Some of y'all start tripping in the first part of a season. You know, oh man, they suck. Oh man, RJ need to be traded because he starts off slow every year. And I told y'all, wait till January. Got to look longer term, y'all. Longer term. Long-term sustainable winning. Okay? Big three played out. And tanking is stupid. Let's build the right way. We already started. We got a nice core of young guys. Nice core. Okay? You want to really add by subtracting. Yeah. That's what you want to do. Add by subtracting. All right? That's really what you want. Okay? Right now, we're up against it in a minute because we got to pay RJ and we got to pay Mitch Rob. Fine. Okay? You could do that. We talked about the cap yesterday. And some of y'all really, man. I laugh because it's like some of y'all, I guess the good part of your day is being right about something. So if I said a number wrong, no, it really wasn't one. It really, your numbers are off. Bless you, man. Some of y'all, no, it's not, the point was there are teams over the luxury tax that have decisions to make. The Knicks aren't one of them. That was the point. I don't know if y'all caught that part. Your numbers are off. They're really repeaters. Okay. Calm down, y'all. Or his name is not Roku, it's Roka. Bless y'all. Bless Knicks Nation. All right. Well, anyway, I hope y'all got the lesson today. The point is the big three is played out. And tanking is stupid. Please get that point. Build the right way. And the Knicks are on their way to building the right way. I hope y'all please have a good Friday. Be safe out there, brethren. Enjoy yourselves, but don't get in no trouble. Shalom.